Hello everyone, I'm ShadowRock, and I'm back here with David Oxford, otherwise known as LBD Nytetrayn. Today we're going to be talking about the Ruby Spears Mega Man Blu-ray release that's coming out in a little bit now. And I know that, David, you contributed a little bit to this release, so you just wanted to give people a quick overview of what to expect from this release.
Well, let's see. My understanding of it is the complete series available on Blu-ray. It's not like remastered in high definition or anything, as far as I know. I think it's just basically like everything on one disc kind of thing with bonus features, using more of the storage capacity for, keep it compact rather than, making the visuals better or anything. Let's see. Has all 27 episodes, in SD format, along with a host of new features, not included in the previous DVD release, even though the cover looks about the same. That includes a high-resolution version of the original anime pitch, a new high-quality transfer of the first episode, galleries of rare art and production materials, promotional content, episode commentary by Mega Man Ian James Corlett himself, and more, including a certain series Bible that you might have seen haphazardly shown around over the years.
I'll assume that's your contribution to this?
That is my primary contribution to it, yes.
Was there anything else?
Oh, let's see. Let's see, it's got a scan of the original anime pitch pilot. There's high-res scans of the show's original press kit, TV commercials, a toy commercial, art marketing galleries, brand new interactive menus. Yeah, I'm reading off a list here. Sorry, I don't have it memorized. Complete scans of the series Bible, and the aforementioned commentary. So it's a little different from the one I pitched about almost a decade ago now, but some of the things are still there. Oh, and apparently there's a newly restored version of Episode 1, sourced from the original master, presented at its proper speed, a format not seen in decades, because apparently what had been on previous DVDs was, I think, I don't know if it was like the PAL version, or what the deal was. It's something like that. Basically, if you understand the difference between how PAL games used to run versus DSC, I think it's like a similar kind of situation there. Okay. So I think the episode ran for 26 minutes instead of 22 or something like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, but now they've got it running at the proper speed. It's weird because I don't know if I ever noticed when I watched back, because the beginning is one of my favorite episodes. So you'd think I would have caught that.
Yeah, full disclosure, I don't have that original DVD release, so I'm hoping the Blu-ray will be my first, because it looks really cool.
I've got the AVD. There were 2 releases there. I got the previous Discotek one last year. A friend gave it to me. And then, let's see. Yeah, and then there's this one, which, I should be getting a copy of as far as I know.
Yeah. So, about the series Bible, what's that all about?
So, Series Bible is basically when they get a writer to come in and basically establish the groundwork. It tells you who the characters are and, their relation to each other in some cases, and what the overall plot is, some common set pieces, like, say, Dr. Light's Lab or Skull Castle. And sometimes they'll have, these springboards, which are just, original treatments that are basically supposed to be expanded upon into full episodes, and sometimes they vary wildly from what we end up getting, as they do here. And I have to say, if some of the episodes, like I believe Electric Nightmares was one of them, included in the springboards. Not all the springboards were used for actual episodes, but you'll find some overlap, some that were used. I think one of my favorite was Electric Nightmares because do you remember that episode?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so for the uninitiated, basically Dr. Wily takes over the city's electrical grid. Fun thing, I believe New York City is where the Mega Man animated series mainly takes place.
Yeah.
And basically he's able to control all of the electronics through that. But they're just like common, regular 90s looking electronics. Like a toaster looks like a toaster and all that kind of stuff. In the original Bible treatment, it's more what you'd expect from Mega Man. It's like a robot toaster that's rebelling and things like that. And it's like, oh, okay, I see how this kind of fits into a Mega Man thing now. So some of the stuff like that's a real treat. It was for me when I got the Bible. God, I must have gotten it like around 20 years ago. And I read it, I'm just like, whoa.
That's awesome.
There's also some like really early, I don't know who did the art, but like some versions of Mega Man that are a little closer to the games, which kind of reflects that early pilot trailer. So, oh, and there was actually a great bit, but I don't know if I want to spoil it. But there's a great bit about the Skull Castle and the. I think the illustration they used was the Mega Man 3 one. But I'm not going to spoil it unless like one of the previews of it already has. But there's a great bit that I wish they'd used in the series that they did not. I'm just going to say that. So I hope people look forward to finding that out.
And these are the complete scans, so people will be able to read up on it themselves, I presume.
Yep, went through, scanned every single page. I was waiting for an occasion like this, and when it came along,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Had to get it out there.
I know, like, over the last couple years, you talked about the series Bible offhand a few times. So I've always been curious about it.
Anything in particular on that, or just about the Bible itself in general?
I think it was when we were doing our Fully Charged podcast together. You might have mentioned that a couple times. So like, oh, that's interesting.
One surprised me, yeah. Make sure people out there know it exists in case, like, I get hit by a bus or something, and so people can find out about it and preserve it. Well, no need to worry about that anymore. Now I can get hit by a bus all I want.
Yeah, thank goodness. It's always nice to have these things preserved for the future.
Yeah. I got it. I actually reached out when Ruby Spears was still a company, like years and years ago. I managed to email, and I actually heard back, and I got a copy of the first draft, because before I took over the Mega Man Network, my plan was to create a website that was dedicated to the Ruby Spears Mega Man cartoon, and this was going to be a part of that. And I wanted to basically like encourage a lot of fan activity, because that's something I've always liked to encourage, like, with the retweets of art and, doing stories and like encouraging fan characters and all that stuff. Basically, I wanted an idea that it's like, okay, so the series is over. What if it wasn't? What if, like, I wanted to encourage people to write their own stuff. And this was before YouTube even, so I wonder how that could have affected things if people would have done their own like animations or something based on it. But I love the idea of people doing like, the mythical season 3. Like, yeah, we got like one episode that like, barely counts. But like, some of the rumors that were out there, like including Bass and having Proto Man turn good and just try to facilitate stuff like that. I want people to look at the Bible here and kind of do an alternate universe thing. Like, work with the those springboards I mentioned and like craft their own episodes that are more in line with what you would expect from Mega Man in some cases. And, just kind of have a whole trove, like, things to work with. Make it kind of a big community kind of, thing to work on. And, in some ways, we still see some of that these days. Like, whenever I see, like, Ruby Spears-styled versions of familiar characters that never made it to the show, like Bass, or I think I've seen Quake Woman before, and, I mean, I always got to give that the old, like, LBD approved orange heart on the retweet. So which, I usually reserve that for stuff that, like, really stands out, like, really hits me here,
Yeah.
And, like, I love all Mega Man stuff, but some stuff hits a little bit harder. But yeah, I wanted to get that kind of stuff out there. And then things happened. I ended up becoming the guy running the Mega Man network, and that just never got off the ground. So basically, it's just kind of sat in a drawer for so many years. And it's like, okay, if like there's a definitive DVD release or something, I definitely want, like, to get this out there. I wasn't able to do the website and that whole thing, but I want to get it out there somehow. But it has to be, like, a way that matters. I could have dumped it on Internet Archive. I didn't want to do that. Like, I wanted it to be something special, something that fans could actually kind of take a certain sense of ownership of and add to their collections in a way. And I tried to do that with the previous Discotek release. That didn't pan out for reasons, and then it ended up coming back around in a weird sort of way with this, so, finally happening.
Tell us a little bit about that other release that you guys were planning at one point.
Let's see. Well, it wasn't on Blu-ray, but I did get together with some people who had some known ties to the Mega Man cartoon and the fandom. Let's see. I was going to include my Bible. It's the first draft of it, written by Jeffrey Scott. Let's see. There were going to be character model sheets. I believe that's going to be in the package. Got those from M. Cypher, who's a longtime fan of the cartoon. He also did an interview with Joe Ruby for ASM some years ago. I think it's the same character models from that. I wanted to do an episode commentary with him, like on a couple of episodes. That obviously didn't come to pass here for whatever reason. I don't know. I wanted to look at the, say, Curse of the Lion Men would have been a good one to just talk about and poke some fun at, like as far as like a low point for the series. Mm-hmm. And of course, Mega X, that's like a high. So.
Oh yeah.
Cypher, he's got experience talking over some stuff at the Transformers conventions, doing a kind of a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type thing with some of the Transformers cartoons and whatnot, so I thought it would be fun to do a commentary with him. I'm a little jealous that Matt McMuscle's got to do commentary on the Street Fighter Blu-ray release, so it's like I was hoping to kind of get to do that here, but, you can't argue with Ian James Corlett, so... I'm not saying like he argued against us or anything, but it's, between me and him, I know the choice is obvious. I'd rather listen to him too.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many episodes he's doing. I don't know if he covered any of the ones we were looking at, so I helped contribute to this, but there's a lot I don't know about it, if it wasn't obvious, so.
Yeah. I do wonder... go ahead.
Oh, sure. Oh, I was going to also say... there was a Mega Man action figure commercial we were going to contribute. Just a lot of toy content stuff, including some pictures and turnarounds of the action figure line from Andrew Dickman, who's the only guy that I know. Well, he was the only guy at the time. Since then, Pixel Dan's another guy who has the entire collection, as far as I know. But to do a whole kind of gallery of the action figure line. VHS cover art gallery. Wanted to have the German theme song, but, rights could have been an issue there. Mega Man album cover scans from the soundtrack album. Soundtrack, I put in heavy quotes. I really need to talk about that on Mega Man Network again sometime. I had a little ongoing series a little while back. I need to bring that back. But yeah, I know we couldn't use the music from that unless, heaven and earth and the stars aligned and a miracle happened, but I was hoping to at least get the cover scans on there. I'm not sure if those made it in or not. And of course there was the sales pitch from a Consumer Electronics show, I think it was. It was kind of paired up with Wily Wars and stuff. David Minter was going to provide that and the VHS cover gallery. I think of his contributions it's only the VHS cover gallery, so Yeah, that's everything that was going to be in the 2016, I think it was, when it came out.
Oh, okay.
So, oh, sorry, 2014. That's when I first heard they were doing a DVD release, and I reached out to Discotek, and it's like, hey, let's make this thing like, definitive. Let's make it the best it could be. So, got a little bit closer with this one, I think, because the last one didn't have any special features, as I recall.
Yeah, it looks like this was kind of a long time coming for sure.
Yeah. I do have a little bit of regret that we had one fan reach out to me. I believe it was after I posted the article. They've got a copy of one of the scripts. I believe it was, what was it called? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or something?
Something like that.
That's the novel, isn't it? It was a play on that. But, yeah, he's got a script, and unfortunately, the turnaround time, I basically had a week to try to, get as much of this stuff together as I could. And, yeah, so, in the rush and the frenzy, I completely forgot about that. So, there's room for improvement if they ever do another one and they want to include that. So,
yeah.
But otherwise, I think we got, and I guess some of the other stuff here, but, still, it's a marked improvement over what came before.
Yeah, looking at the feature list, something that is really cool is the new scan of the original anime pilot. I was just blown away when I saw that the first time.
Oh yeah, I got to see that years ago. Again, thanks to Mentor, and yeah, that was going to be on the other one as well. But I mean, it's here, but
yeah, it seems like it's gonna be like I guess a higher resolution version of that. Because I know the one on YouTube I saw was like pretty low quality.
Yeah, I think ours was of higher quality than that one, but I mean, it could be stand to be touched up or something, probably. But I don't know if so I think they're using Protodude's copy of it or something.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, it's I don't know if his was much different from ours on that front, but from Mentor's rather.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, that's a really cool pilot for people to check out. Definitely a big ol' what if scenario. Yeah,
you can still see some pieces of it in the opening sequence too.
Yeah,
it might have been reanimated slightly, but I mean, it's some of the same storyboarding there, at the very least.
I think the Napalm Man shot is still in there.
Yeah, I think they might have revised the design slightly. I think the one with the PPs, the little birds, or are they PPPs? I always forget how many P's are in their name. But the bomb birds from Mega Man 2.
Oh yeah.
I think that's in the original treatment, and that made it to the opening as well.
Yep, it's really cool to have. And yeah, we're not gonna have everything that you guys originally planned, but it is a really cool feature set. So I'm definitely looking forward to owning this for myself.
Me too.
And
I'm glad that is finally getting out there. I hope it'll stir a little bit of discussion for a day or two when people see the Bible.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a treat for sure to flip through. It's a piece of Ruby Spears history that not a lot of people have been able to see.
Yeah, piece of Mega Man history.
And speaking of Mega Man, I wonder, because they don't say it on the feature list, but I do wonder how many episodes that Ian James Corlett did provide commentary for.
Yeah, I have no idea on that one. I'm hoping that at least maybe the beginning, but yeah, it'd be nice to have him do some more. I've got a couple of favorites I wouldn't mind hearing his thoughts on, but
yeah, for sure. I always love hearing from that guy.
Ian James Corlett, the voice of my childhood.
Yep, basically.
Let's see, he was Dr. Wily in Captain and the Game Master, if I remember correctly. Mega Man, of course, and let's see, Snake Man as well, which honestly, people will criticize a lot of the changes made to Mega Man in the for the animated series from the games.
Mhm.
I think Snake Man was an improvement, if I'm being honest. I love Snake Man's design. So I would love to get the action figure of him someday for that. I actually got like one of the this like snake playset thing that's like a big snake from a Masters of the Universe release that was a couple years ago, in the hopes that I'm able to get a Snake Man figure, either one from like say Jada in the game style or the animated series style, just to put on top of it, snap some pictures of. But I love that Snake Man design, so that's one thing I definitely think where the cartoon improved over the games.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, there's some that may be better than the original game, some that may be a little weird, but I don't know.
Airman is so weird.
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
Pharaoh Man kind of got a glow up. He's got a cape, all this.
Yeah, love the cape. And I mean, let's face it, he gets the best scene in the series.
He really does. It's even on the back of the cover art now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, it's that good.
Oh, I'm even reading the subtitle now. Pharaoh Man is awesome. He doesn't even care. Oh man, that's good.
Now I've got your power. Wow.
There's another one with like Mega Man getting the power. He's got your power again. Why didn't he just keep it the last time? Oh man. Speaking of the cover, I did see that they have a regular edition that's just, you know, mostly the same as the DVD release, but then they have a special edition or something that has
it's
like
a reversible cover, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
there's
you can
like
flip it. You can have the worn version, or you can just have the pristine version.
yeah,
Your choice.
yeah, like a worn version, kind of like if it was a 1980s NES box. That's neat.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Looks like they're. No, it looks like the product shot is the worn version, if I was to guess. Looking at it here, which yeah, it's too bad because it's like, okay, if I wanted to keep it sealed, I'd want the pristine version, because like I've already got the other one sealed that has like the wear and tear on it. So it's like it would have been nice to have like a new and a used one, as it were. But I guess I'll have to open up my new one and swap out the covers so that it looks new instead of old. I'm about to go cross-eyed trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but overall, looking forward to this. This should be really cool for fans to check out, especially if you never.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I love it. Like the series has its critics, but I mean, for me, it is a beloved part of Mega Man history. It's like to me, it's like being a Batman fan, and like you've got Batman 66, which is the Adam West one, which is kind of an oddity in the overall tapestry of things, but it's got a quirkiness you can't help but love, even if it's not true to what the character as today. And I mean, it's also a great time capsule in this case, because this is basically what we knew Mega Man as back then. Like, we did not know until like I think the turn of the century or so that Mega Man is supposed to be like 10 years old. Capcom portrayed him in like various material as like an adult, or like an adult. So this is closer to that really than the Mega Man we have today, and it's like a good look at how things were versus how they are now in some ways.
Yeah, I think you hit on a good point there, because personally, I guess I'm a generation too late to have seen this cartoon as it was coming out. So, my exposure to Mega Man was really like Mega Man 8, X4, and so on.
So you probably didn't find the voice of Mega Man as jarring in Mega Man 8 as someone like I did.
Yeah, I think it was a little jarring, but not like. I definitely got the vibe that okay, he's supposed to be a kid. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the art from back in the day, like Mega Man 7, when they released that had some tie-in stuff. There was an ad for the figure line, and they played up Gutsman and Cutman's appearances in the game, even though Cutman was just like a tiny little cameo in the newspaper. But, you know, they tried to play it up, like, I think, to tie in with the cartoon show a little bit. And it's like, you know, you look at the art from around that time, Mega Man 7, Mega Man 8, and it's like, I mean, Mega Man is as tall as Dr. Light, and Dr. Light does not seem to be a short man, because he's about the same height as Dr. Wily, as well as the Russian Dr. Cossack. So, you know, you've got like 3 adult samples there. Meanwhile, Kalinka, who is supposed to be like a little girl, her sprite was noticeably shorter, except for the hat. And I mean, Mega Man's sprite was the same height as like Light and Wily and all of them.
Yeah.
The art corroborated it. It's like, you know, why would anyone at the time not think that Mega Man was an adult? So,
yeah. He's a man, not a kid.
yeah. Which is also makes it all the funnier that the early stuff seemed to be going more towards the Mega Man as a kid side of things, but
yeah, it's interesting. So I know, like, they kind of did the same thing with NT Warrior here in the States. They gave him a more of a adult voice, but over in Japan, he sounds like a kid through and through.
And here he sounds like he's gonna write your name down in a notebook and kill you.
Right.
Wait, what was it? Mega Man or was it Lan? It was Lan who was the same voice actor, wasn't it?
Yeah, Lan was Light. I forgot his name.
Yagami.
Yeah, like, okay, I was right. That was crazy.
But yeah, it's just a great, like, you know, time capsule to a point in time when just things were kind of different. Like, you know, we didn't have all the knowledge that we have today, and Capcom USA presented Mega Man in a different way. Like the whole plasma power thing. Like, you know, that was not a creation of the cartoon. That came from Capcom. And, you know, it's reflected here. And, you know, today we know he uses solar bullets from the Mega Busters, so...
Oh, that's interesting that plasma power came from Capcom.
Yeah, there's a, oh gosh, I think Official Guide to Mega Man, which kind of, you know, had, like, you know, a lot of this kind of stuff, like, codified. I think that they probably based that off of the P indicator and from the earlier games.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Which, like, you know, people, like, connected that for years, but I think it got revealed later on. I think it means player.
Yeah,
actually.
That's what Akira Kitamura said.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, I don't think anybody on this side of the ocean knew that back then, so... Plasma power it is, and hey, it's a kind of a catchy catchphrase.
Yeah, definitely. But it has been really funny because the Ruby Spears cartoon actually got released in Japan recently, and it's been fun seeing the Japanese community get into the memes now.
Yeah. And creating some of their own, too. That's just... I love the one that's like a video where it's like, you know, you've got all these like different Mega Men, and then there's this guy, like, it's like a live action video, but like all these different Mega Man game design heads, like from Star Force and Legends and X and everything. They're like put on top of the people's heads, but you got the Ruby Spears Mega Man on this guy, and he's just like punching them all to the tune of Super Fighting Robot. And that one's just crazy. I love it.
Yeah, as someone that didn't grow up with the cartoon myself, that's probably the most enjoyment I've gotten out of this is all the memes online, like, you know, Dr. Light going up to the bathrooms, like, oh no, why would someone draw the bathroom door and cue the Jeopardy theme? That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, it kind of, I think it makes some sense in context, because, I mean, it's like, yeah, somebody, like, you know, welded a bar to the bathroom door, and I guess he figured it out.
Oh,
like,
no.
I mean, I guess he came to a better I think he came to a conclusion faster than I would have, so, you know.
Definitely.
Like, if I didn't have the benefit of having seen what happened in the prior scene, but
Yeah.
Still, I mean, yeah, you get some fun moments like that. And I mean, back then, oh my gosh, this was almost pre-internet. Like, the internet was in its infancy back then, as far as, like, anything like what we know today. Okay, how much of that motor did you just hear?
I didn't hear a thing.
Oh, okay, great. So I just look stupid. Anyway, nothing new. Moving on. Yeah, this was basically like almost pre-internet, like all we really had back then. I think it was still airing, like, towards the end of its run when I first got online and involved in the community. I remember there was some talk on a website that was doing some rumors, and one was about how for the episode Mega X, Bruce Campbell would be the voice of X. And I mean, that was like such a wild thing, but it's like, yeah, even back then, I guess you couldn't believe everything you read on the internet. But yeah, that was like one of the earliest things I remember seeing when getting involved in the Mega Man fandom back then. And yeah, so it was like towards the tail end of the cartoon's run. So it was kind of a nice segue in a way to like go from, okay, all you've got is the cartoon, and now you're going online and you can see people making their funny pictures and their fan fiction and all that fun. So,
Yeah.
and finding out more information.
What was your take on how Mega Man X was portrayed back then? Because he sounded more like he was programmed to defeat the Mavericks instead of having his own free will, like in the games.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing, but aside from that, I mean, I didn't think too much of it. Like, it was like, okay, it shouldn't really be a programming thing, but, things are a little weird sometimes. Like, you kind of roll with it. The portrayal of Violent Spark Mandrill was great. I know some people are actually upset by the Maverick Hunter X and X8 like renditions when he returns, and it's like he was so not that, because that vial was pretty cool, you have to admit.
Yeah, I love the way that you see like one of his eyes show at certain points.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
I wonder if X3 informed that at all, because like then you kind of see the art for that, and you can he's just got the mono eye peeking through, so it's like with the low res type of stuff back in the day, I can imagine somebody misinterpreting that as a single eye and applying it. I don't know, but gosh, when the cartoon was in production and what we knew of Mega Man X, I mean, like, a lot of people talk about how trigger happy he is, and we didn't really know any different at the time. We didn't know that Mega Man was a pacifist, or sorry, that X was a pacifist at the time. Hell, to what I just said, we didn't even know that Mega Man and X were different people at the time.
Right.
So it's like, because that was still kind of a new ground, like, you didn't really have as many legacy heroes going back then, I don't think so. It's like Mega Man or Mario on the NES was the same as Mario on the Super NES. Simon was Simon, and I guess you were starting to see some of it, but I don't know. It's just, Mega Man X. Mega Man was already so human-like to begin with. We figured that Dr. Light just sealed him up in a capsule and, preserved him for future generations for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so X didn't seem too out of character at the time, like, trying to eradicate the Maverick bots. I mean, think about the first time you see X in a Mega Man X game. What's he doing? He's running down the highway, and if you're a trigger-happy player, he's firing shots all over the place, so, as, like, traffic's, like, racing past him. I think I wrote about this on the Mega Man Network some time back, but yeah, it was a very different portrayal, but we really didn't know better, because Capcom wasn't really emphasizing his pacifism so much at that point. Like,
yeah.
they
True.
It's like, we know he wants peace. They talk about, like, when will the fighting end? Only the X-Buster on his hand knows for sure. I mean, that's not much of a statement of pacifism, in my opinion. Like, when you know X as he actually is, rather than what we thought he was, yeah, the line is like, clear as day. Back then, I mean, it's like, it sounds like the Autobots. Like, Optimus Prime, he's willing to bust some heads, usually, to, like, ensure peace. Like, Michael Bay kind of took the Ruby Spears route with that. But, back then, the Autobots, they just, wanted peace, but they were willing to fight for it. And that's kind of like, it's like, okay, so that's probably what's happening with X here, so.
Yeah, kind of like he's just a war hero, essentially.
Yeah. A 90s action hero.
Yeah. Yeah, like watching it today, it's like, oh, wait, why is he so bloodthirsty, for lack of a better term? But yeah, back then, it's hard to tell just from the game dialogue itself.
Yeah, I think getting things done was more of a style at the time, as they say.
Yep.
X, he was there to get things done. One thing that was like really cool when he first appears, though, is like you play Mega Man X and you see like one of the first things you see even before playing the game, and he's like firing down the highway, is Mega Buster Mark 17 as the X Buster, and finally getting an idea of, oh, maybe that's what an actual Mark 17 Mega Buster is like, as like one shot is just like Dragon Ball Z-ing the place.
Freaking blowing up trucks with one shot. Incredible. Yeah,
it was great. I mean, like at the time it was great. Looking back at it now, it's like, oh wow. But at the time it's like, yeah, get him, X. Show them who's boss.
I was with the original Mega Man when he's like, oh, it's a lot of firepower, but aren't you like, you gotta be more careful, bro. And X is just like, well, I gotta defeat Maverick Box at any cost. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
X putting the cap in Capcom.
Yeah. Oh man.
Wow, I think we got up on a bit of a tangent there, didn't we? I think that's all spun out of talking about who Ian James Corlett played back in the day. We even got to like Ghidorah or Goku.
Well, I mean, like, to be fair, the cartoon itself is part of the experience, so I don't necessarily mind reminiscing about it. So.
Yeah, when you brought up the Fully Charged podcast before, I hope I can bring that back someday. And but one of my hopes there was like, had we been able to keep it going before life got in the way.
Yeah.
Was like after like when Fully Charged was done, I wanted to look at the other different animated series of Mega Man, and of course this was high on the list. I think we did do one episode though that celebrated the anniversary of this one.
I think
that might have been where I brought up the series Bible, in fact.
Either that or at the OVAs. I know we covered those.
I think we did a Christmas special with because one of them was like around Christmas time, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the OVAs. I think those were also done in part by Ruby Spears, weren't they? And they featured some of the. I know this featured some of the same voice talent. I think like Dr. Light and maybe Wily were the same, but maybe they were performing a little differently.
Yeah, I know the original anime plot, or pitch pilot, whatever you call it, had like basically the same animation as the OVAs, so you can definitely see it.
Yeah, so they got some good practice under them for that. It's too bad it didn't come back around, though. It'd be neat to kind of see. Gosh, can you imagine if the series was like reanimated in the original style? But
right.
Yeah.
What could have been?
Speaking of reanimations, I mentioned Curse of the Lion Man earlier. I tried to get gauge like interest in getting people together because I wanted to do one of those things you see on YouTube where it's like scene by scene reanimation of an episode, and I really wanted to do Curse of the Lion Man, but there just weren't enough people like interested or who spoke out to make it viable, so I just kind of shelved that plan. But it's like, if there's any episode of Mega Man you're going to do, that's going to be the one.
Right.
It's like so bad to start with. Any kind of reanimation is only going to improve it.
Yeah. That's kind of how someone that didn't grow up with it, that's kind of how I look back on it. It's like kind of so bad it's good vibes.
Well, you're half right. I don't know how good it actually is as a result of being bad or anything else. But
The Lying Man episode,
bad.
it's bad. But like the series as a whole, it's like it's not what you would expect from Mega Man necessarily these days, but it's charming as all heck.
Yeah, it's definitely a product of its time. This is like what cartoons were like back then. It does have a few gems, though. The beginning is a favorite of mine because, you know, the way it kind of covers the Mega Man origin story. I think it does it in a pretty decent way. You even get to see Rock as Rock instead of Mega Man, which he spends the entire rest of the series as. You would think with Power Rangers being the new hotness and Mega Man even doing the like flash change in the 5th Game Boy game that they would have leaned into that more, but I guess not. Let's see, Mega X, you know, despite like its inaccuracies, I still think it's one of the best ones in the series. It's just great to see Mega Man and X teaming up, and like I said, the Vile and Spark Mandrill were top notch. I think they were working on that before, like, you know, a lot of stuff was finalized too, so like with the game release.
That's true.
Because I think turnaround time for cartoons was longer back then, but another one that I really like, I believe it's called Terror on the High Seas. I always get the name wrong, despite it being one of my favorite episodes. But it's the one where Wily ends up capturing all these different, like, you know, oil tankers and battleships and stuff, and creating a giant floating fortress that Mega Man has to infiltrate. And I don't know, for some reason to me, that just felt like one of the most Mega Man-ish episodes of the whole lot, and I just really love it. It's from season 2, I believe. So,
yeah, that was a good one for sure.
Yeah, you got the fight with Proto Man at the end, and like, you know, they go no weapons with it, and
yeah,
Mega Man busting Robot Masters as he goes through the fortress and stealing weapons, and it was like a small Mega Man game in animated form. I mean, yeah, he doesn't fight Dr. Wily at the end, but you know, Proto Man, I'll take it.
Yeah. He can be a final boss on a good day himself.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting if they did continue. Proto Man did become a good guy, because I know that's like one of the discrepancies with Ruby Spears is Proto Man is just a bad guy the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, he did work for Wily for a hot minute in the games, in Mega Man 3, possibly part of Mega Man 4. And so it's not like it was inaccurate, they just kind of... It didn't move at the same kind of pace as the games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that role was like prolonged. Same way that, like, you know, Wily always used the one Wily machine they called the Skulker. I think it was the one he uses in Mega Man 5, and that was the de facto machine for the series. I think 5 was probably the latest game when they got to work on it, because the Skull Castle is also from 5. Maybe when they started it is when 3 was out. Man, hard to imagine they started that early, but they might have. Either way, that was like the one in the Bible, and I guess they tried to make it as contemporary as they could. So you've got like Darkman and some other Robot Masters from 5. That's as far as it goes. You never even get to see 6. X like comes at the tail end of the series. I think I heard they actually flipped the order like for the last 2 episodes to get X out sooner. So probably gives an idea of the timeline and kind of crunch they were under for that.
Yeah, probably for the best that they did that, because that's definitely my favorite episode, Mega X.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, now that I think about it, Mega Man 5, you know, Proto Man's the bad guy there, or so you think. So they probably wanted to run with that without, like, you know, spoiling the surprise. Oh no, he's actually good after all. Yeah. So if you think about what the games that had Proto Man in the series were at the time, yeah, he does the betrayal in Mega Man 4, but, you know, it's kind of... You know, he's kind of got a rebellious attitude against Wily, and the cartoon really downplayed from the Bible, I'll say that much. But, you know, he's rebellious, but not so much that, okay, maybe you could consider the Mega Man 4 line a part of that. Like, no, you shouldn't have Dr. Cossack destroy Mega Man. I must destroy my brother, kind of thing. So he screws up that plan, and that's where the betrayal comes from. I mean, it's an interpretation, is basically what I'm saying. So, it doesn't, so the games don't necessarily invalidate the cartoon in that way. If you look at what they're basing it on, they probably didn't want to spoil the Twisted 5, that, Proto Man is actually, good. Stuff like that. And of course, we didn't have base yet, because, I must destroy Mega Man, that's a very thing. Base is basically, cartoon Proto Man 2.0. Which, of course, like you mentioned, having Proto Man turn good would make things interesting, because then there would definitely be a need for a base there. A lot of people's favorite episode there's Brobots, just because, it looked like, oh, hey, maybe he's finally becoming the Proto Man we all know.
Yeah, that was a good episode. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brobots, that's something. Well, I know, in the U.S., Mega Man 3 said outright, he's Mega Man's brother. But apparently that was not supposed to be out in the open in the Japanese version. So...
Yeah, that's what I've heard. They really kind of Racer X him to this very day, as far as I know, over there, and Mega Man's none the wiser. Meanwhile, over here, Mega Man 7, alright, let's see which one of us Father made stronger.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sure.
I guess to an extent, Ruby Spears may have influenced some of that, because that sounds line for line something that Proto Man may have said in the cartoon.
Yeah, it definitely reads like something like that. Come to think of it, I think Proto Man, I mentioned Guts Man and Cut Man being selling points. I think they really pushed Proto Man being, in there, and of course, you encounter him several times and get to fight him, so... Yeah, I think the cartoon did have some influence there.
Yeah.
And it's wild when you think about it, because, 7 came out around the time of X3, and, it was out around, at a point in time where I guess that, plugging the cartoon was still something they needed to do, and, or tying into it somehow. So, if you consider that, I guess their cutoff was Mega Man 5 when producing the cartoon, and then you're up to 7 when they're actually, doing this kind of stuff. It's wild.
Very wild. Like you said, this is such an interesting time capsule of what being a Mega Man fan was like back in that era.
Oh, yeah. Until that cartoon came along, I think my canon was either Captain N or the Worlds of Power novel.
That's true.
And, I was young enough at the time that it's I thought the Worlds of Power novel was, official. Okay, so Mega Man becomes a human for some reason. Sure, why not?
Oh, man.
That made things really confusing later when they kept calling him a robot in the games. It's no, he's supposed to be a human. Don't you guys remember? I'm just... Eventually, I caught on eventually.
Yeah.
So sooner than later, but, just long enough that it was okay, a lot of this... I think it was the story of X and thinking that Mega Man and X were the same guy that I started to pick up that, okay, you know what? I think that novel was kind of full of, there. And ironically, if you think about it, though, if you follow the Worlds of Power Mega Man novel, well, okay, Mega Man becomes a human. Well, doesn't that just necessitate, the need for something like X, who is a robot that thinks like a human? Because, Mega Man already went off and became human.
That's true.
Maybe human Mega Man was the basis on which Light created X. So, it's funny that, the realization came... in contrast to where it would have actually made sense for the two to be different. What a time.
Yeah, I like to think that scene in Mega Man 7 where Mega Man almost broke the first rule of robotics, gave Light some inspiration, oh god, I gotta really test X before I put him out there.
He's yeah, I think 30 years will do it. If nothing else, maybe anybody who would have wanted to hurt will be dead by then. That's the hope.
Oh man. I was gonna say something, but I forgot what it was now.
I have that effect on people.
Oh.
Usually me, but
That's come back to me. When I was a kid, I used to think X was a human that transformed into like the armor and all that. I think it's because I watched too much Power Rangers, and also I only had access to X1 and X5. So in X1 you hear about, oh, he's supposed to be a robot that thinks like a human. Then you go straight to X5 and he's got all this cool gear and everything. So I used to use a Power Ranger.
yeah, I at the very least I imagined that he still had the kind of, a human-like body like Rock did. I did like a little comic on like maybe the first 2 pages of a comic like that or something, like based on Mega Man X, like right after it came out back then, and gave him this kind of hair based on the Rock sprite.
Yeah.
And yeah, I figured like, yeah, he'd morph into armor. And I also thought that like, the first armor would have stuck around, but nope.
Some say it may have been upgraded.
But that would be a discussion for another time, I think.
Yep. Well, I think we covered it all, huh?
Yeah, probably, and then some. How long have we been going on this?
Oh man, closer to an hour at this rate, so...
Oh no. Maybe you should splice this into 2 episodes.
Reminiscing about Mega Man Ruby Spears.
Yeah.
Alright, well, see anything else?
It's your video, I'll let you handle that.
Anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Yeah, just I hope people will check out this video, this Blu-ray release, even if you have a previous release of the cartoons. Because, I mean, if you're a fan of Mega Man, I think the extra content's really going to make it worth it. That's why we wanted to include it, so... Not just to make you double dip, but I mean, to get it out there, because this is some cool stuff to see. And,
Definitely.
I hope people will really enjoy it.
Yeah. I'll have to actually sit down and watch all the episodes again when I get it, because... Yeah, my memory is spotty on certain things. I think I remember the memes more in the cartoon itself, if I'm honest. He's gonna blast President Lincoln.
Careful, that sounds like Maverick talk to me. I come after you. Your house will become greater.
Alright, well, David, thank you so much for being on and reminiscing about this and talking about the Blu-ray release with us. Really
Always
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Where can we find you at?
Let's see. I'm on Blue Sky at LBD Nytetrayn. Put an underscore after the LBD if you're on Twitter. I'm not using Twitter as much these days, at least not my personal account there. On both the Network, which, I keep tabs on both pretty much every day. At least for Mega Man stuff. The, of course, there's the MegaManNetwork.com. And, or the MMNetwork.com, the Mega Man Network, as well as my site for other stuff, which is poisonmushroom.org. I really need to get into the habit of updating that more regularly again. Time feels so fleeting these days.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got a Patreon at Nyteworks, Nyteworks, which is also the name of the Twitch channel that my wife and we stream on every other week. And usually, like, every other stream, we do Mega Man Mayhem, which we're basically going through a almost chronological order of playing through the whole Mega Man series. We're up on Mega Man 8 right now. Just due to the formats and stuff, it's not strict chronological because, like, we're using the Legacy collections and the Rockman World games, the Game Boy games. Those weren't on there. So we kind of did those in a separate batch before we went on to 7 and 8 and, stuff like that. But generally speaking, it's mostly trying to follow the chronology, the actual in-game, in-story universe chronology. And yeah, I talked about that more than I planned to. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
But yeah, I think that's oh, I also do writing for Nintendo Force Magazine, nintendoforcemagazine.com, which has a Patreon you can sign up to. It's a bi-monthly print and digital magazine covering what's happening in the world of Nintendo, kind of a spiritual successor to Nintendo Power Magazine. And whenever I get the chance, whenever the opportunity arises, I like to talk about Mega Man a little bit in there, of course. And yeah, I mentioned the Patreon part, right? That's basically how you sign up and subscribe. So you can do one issue, you can buy back issues, or go for a subscription, however you like.
Awesome. Well, guys, until the next one, rock on and have yourselves a wonderful time zone.